Tim Saver has been working as a security guard for many years, a profession that has led him to work in various places where in general he must do nightly rounds from time to time in the premises that he has to guard. A boring job that from one moment to another turned into a true nightmare with which he has been living lately, a suffering to which he has been exposed night after night. It happened so many times that he decided to start recording them to publish and share those experiences. This is how his TikTok channel was born, an extremely disturbing case that astonished everyone, and that today you will have the opportunity to know its full story. What is going on with him? What has he managed to capture with his camera? Questions whose answers we will see in this video. My name is Leonore Clay, and this is The Darkest Secret. Today we present the creepy case of Tim Saver. Tim describes himself as a professional due to his many years of experience in the security field. Due to his responsibility and professionalism, opportunities have been offered for him to work in countless venues that require his services as a nightly security guard. The same ones that today have led him to be living a true ordeal. For some time he has been working in an immensely large establishment. Tim does not tell us what kind of factory it is. Only by its size can we assume that it belongs to a gigantic business. Every night, and in complete solitude, he must go through the enormous and extensive corridors that this enclosure has. A task that, although it can be disturbing for many, in Tim's case, that is just another workday. A dull routine that almost anecdotally, he decided to record to post on his TikTok account after starting to live strange and inexplicable experiences. He wanted more people to help him cope with something that he has to live with almost every night. It was during his repeated rounds that he began to notice a rarefied environment, that walking through those endless corridors gave him a feeling of heaviness, suffocation, and above all, of being observed.
Following takes place on my third clear. It's 3:05 a.m. What occurs in this video has happened before, but this is the first time I feel it's specifically meant for me. A warning. Cold air just blew ahead of me. It hurt. My heart is pounding, but I have to keep moving. Always. There's an awful smell permeating. I don't know how much longer I can continue this. I'm still the lone guard on night shift. Night 2.
As he advances, he hears the cracking of things around him. Although he knows that this is normal in a venue of this magnitude, he believes that this is different, since saying he had never felt this way, as if he were interacting with strange energies that little by little are diminishing his will to remain in this place. Energies that he believes were the ones that managed to move that chair. A phenomena that he had seen on previous occasions, and now he left as witnesses all of his audience that joined him through the nights. However, the most disturbing, according to him, is what we cannot see or feel. Because according to his story, for a few days now, an intense and nauseating odor has taken over the premises. An odor that he smells in each of his rounds, and that is completely inexplicable to him. The strange thing, that these aromas only emanated at dawn. During the day, it is completely normal. After this, there were several days where nothing in particular happened. Only those strange noises and nauseating smells that unfortunately were already becoming part of his daily life. Until he made the following recording public.
Power outage in one of the storage rooms was causing the fire alarm to go off. I have to turn them off manually, and part of my job is to also do a walkthrough of the room. What you're about to see is the first time the entity in this facility has manifested physical aggression.
No! Ah! Fuck.
Night 5.
This was beginning to get out of hand, and what was tolerable, since it was no longer about noises or smells, but rather it corresponds to something or someone who directly wants to attack him, thus marking a turning point in what he describes as the worst experience of his life. This is where any rational person would stop and leave this job. Well, that's what he thought too. Despite everything and aware that he could present his resignation at any time, Tim mentions that he feels the need to get to the bottom of this matter, to know what is really happening in this place. He didn't believe in the paranormal, but now he's curious to study it, to find out more. That's why he keeps recording every night to update his account, which is posting more and more disconcerting footage.
I don't have to be here. I can quit any time, but I'm drawn to this place. Whatever is going on, I feel like I need to see it through. The following video takes place in one of the break rooms. I try my first feeble attempt at communication. Please excuse my raspy voice. I'm still recovering.
It just got really cold in here. I had to turn off my radio earlier. It's jumping with static. Usually that means it's close. Man, that's cold. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. Yeah, I can definitely feel something in here. Oh, shit. Just let my apple move. Just saw him move. Oh. What do you want? Who are you? Oh. What does this mean? What do you want? Why are you playing games? Why did you attack me the other day? What do you want?
By this point, he knows he's dealing with something completely unknown, something that no longer just haunts him in those halls, but as you can see, is now making itself present in the place where Tim felt safe. However, beyond the apple and the glass that move without reason, there is something much more disturbing that Tim did not see at the time, but that his followers did. If you look closely, at times you can see a disturbing face that forms on the table. Do you see it? Although it is somewhat far-fetched, several in his account mentioned that they noticed this the first time. A few days after this incident, Tim updates his account again. On this occasion, and as a way of demonstrating that everything was real and that he was not going crazy, he decides to leave his camera recording in the place where, according to him, it was where the most paranormal activity was concentrated. This was the result of that recording.
may be thinking that I'm certifiably insane for staying here after the last encounter, and you're probably correct in your assertion. But the lure of this place is undescribable. I need to find out what's going on here, and after tonight I may have found the one area where all this culminates from. Most of the videos I have shared with you take place either above, below, or adjacent to this area right here. This abandoned unit is what's on the other side of that wall. The bulkhead you see here is next to the exact spot I was lifted up to during the entity's attack. I rarely go into this unit, as the activity here is extremely high, but I've come to believe this access hatch and the area leads into might be a center point. I set up my camera and leave the room to see if I might capture something. Here's the moment after only an hour of recording. My brain is telling me to run and never look back. My heart says if I'm already going through hell, I may as well go all the way through. I need to look inside.
His cell phone was only here an hour, enough time to capture what you just saw. With this as proof, he says that he confronted his employers, who, somewhat incredulous with this clip, only limited themselves to saying that this movement was the product of strong winds, that was simply the product of a storm. According to them, the winds entered through the ventilation ducts, generating that effect. However, that explanation fails to convince Tim, so he gathered up his courage and decided to go up to an area of the factory where those winds could have come from. In the following footage, and honoring his restless spirit, he filmed the inside of that hatch that moved to see what it was or what was behind it. What did his camera capture? Pay attention.
May have made an error by constantly recording this thing and posting the videos. I might have inadvertently caused the entity to strengthen and manifest in the way you're about to see. Keep your eye on the statue head.
You saw it, right? Where does that hand that you can see touching that small sculpture come from? At first it appears, but then it is no longer observed. However, when Tim finally realizes what was happening, that hand moves to disappear again. If you are a regular viewer of our content, this video will seem familiar to you, and it is because that on a previous occasion, we showed it without context. We concluded that it could be a spirit. However, now that we know a little more about its story, we can begin to theorize that more beyond a spirit, it seems that Tim is dealing with a different creature, something more real. Surely many in his situation would have already quit this job, but for Tim, that decision was much more complicated. Not just because of the task of finding another similar job, but also because the pay was much higher than what was paid doing the same task in another workplace. Do you have any idea why this is so? In the following recording, we see him once again installed in one of the rest areas where he records himself using his cell phone. A moment of calm before the storm literally breaks loose.
Fuck this job.
Ah! Ah, what the fuck? Fuck.
I have to get rid of this thing tonight. Night 13.
Did you notice that seconds after the attack, his uniform seems to deteriorate? All this in the midst of a strange distortion that at times affected the image. But the most impressive thing comes after the power goes out. After a few moments and after one of those lockers moved, the image of the same sculpture that we saw behind the hatch appears. This before everything inexplicably fell to the ground, revealing on the wall the number of footage that he has uploaded on his TikTok account. Something without a doubt quite disturbing. The last thing that has been happening to him already surpasses everything, as if he were really immersed in a horror movie. However, despite his colleagues telling him to leave, something inside him asks to find out what this is all about, insisting that he get to the bottom of this mystery, no matter what the consequences are. An irrational reasoning, as if it were an addiction. An obsessive desire to stay in this place even though absolutely dangerous things have been starting to happen to it.
I was investigating a water leak and had tracked the source to a damaged AC system in this abandoned unit. The entity manifests near the end of the video.
This is not the first time I was dragged from the net by this thing, but what happened today has me questioning my resolve to continue working here. I've shown this video to the company, and they have promised to send help. It was intriguing that they were not at all surprised at what they saw. I could be wrong, but I don't believe the entity is a ghost or demon. It's something more advanced.
His audience asked him to reflect. He believed that his desire to stay could be produced by the same entity. Ask yourself, who in their right mind would still be working there after something like this? A question that only Tim can answer. I hope you like this video because we have come to an end. My name is Leonore Clay, And this was the darkest secret